to say my mom's coming into town today.
That's exciting.
I'm very excited.
Yes, that's very exciting.
Yes.
And she's going to help with the kids while we're on tour, you guys. You can buy those tickets at IMOMSOHARD.com.
Yes.
And don't pay dirty scalpers money, but we're all over. So just go. There's a city near you. You can listen to us wherever podcasts are listened to, right?
Yep.
And you can also watch it if you want to on YouTube. And I will tell you right now, I have white crusties in the corner of my lips. I am very congested and only comb the front part of my hair. So get in on that.
I'm a supermodel right now. Everything's great.
Yeah.
Not great, but just pretending. I'm sweaty.
Yeah.
It's getting into that humid space, or I'm getting into a never mind space. But nothing as humid as Houston, Texas. Just got back from Houston, Texas.
That's a humid place.
Oh, there's so many things I want to say and so many things I can't.
Yep. Because is she going to listen? So Kristin was in Houston with the in-laws, Sarah, her mother-in-law.
Yes.
Oh, she's going to take a pause, you guys.
Well,
right now she's adjusting her glasses. Is this I don't know where to start, or
This is I'm trying to think, okay, here's what I want to say. I want to speak openly and honestly, but it's not cool if the other person isn't here to sort of like talk through their side of it.
Oh, yeah.
But I just want to say, perhaps other people are feeling this, is that when one's parent gets to a certain age, weird shit starts to happen.
Oh, yeah.
In our space, that weird shit is passwords and customer service.
Okay.
And might I just say before I say anything else, and I always tell this story, when Jen and I were starting out, I Mom So Hard, we had zero money, and we ran into a little bit of a legal snafu, and I told Sarah about it.
Kristin killed someone.
Right. I killed someone. Well, I almost killed someone. After.
Yeah, I did too.
We almost both
I was
killed someone.
closest to it.
So we got into a little snafu and needed an attorney. And when I told Sarah, you could just see this, like, she's so sharp. She's so smart. She's so good at business. And she was like, at her core, like, well, this will not do. And she sent us a check for $5,000, like it was nothing, so that we can afford an attorney to get us out from under. And
I was bawling.
awesome.
I was supposed to call her and say thank you, and I couldn't stop crying.
Don't call her and act just say thank you, but don't bawl. And we got on FaceTime, and Jen starts bawling, and of course Sarah's like very businesslike, and she's like, okay then.
I know, but you know what? She's got 3 boys, and
she can't deal with any of that.
I know. There's part of me that just wants to like sit her down and brush her hair and paint her nails, because she has like, if you're a single mom,
jewelry. She's a very strong woman. That's the way I would explain her.
Like Lynn's very girly too,
Yeah.
but she has 4 boys, and your life is about boys. So it's like, you don't kind of get to have all those, like, you know, all the girly kind of stuff.
Well, she's making up for it now, because her entire house is teacups.
Love that.
Spoons, plates, beautiful china, and
this is why we
Waterford crystal, and knickknacks that are crystal. And all I can think to myself is, if my son keeps swinging that fucking wiffle bat in this house, I had anxiety simply from her decor.
You'd have to like handcuff my kids to put them in that, because they would just beeline for everything sparkly.
And they're all
like,
eye level. So Eleanor's like, what's this one? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm sure it's expensive. Don't touch anything.
Yeah.
Like, don't touch. So they went out into the bayou,
That's
which
called
was
a Fabergé egg.
I'm dead serious. She probably has one. So they went outside and played in the bayou, which was really fun. And there was a swing. I know. There was a swing that they played on, which was so fun. And there was my kids are kind of like outdoorsy, but like they're very simple once you get them going. And then they're easy. But like up until then, they're like, I'm bored. What do we do?
Yeah.
Like we bought a $7 wiffle ball bat set, and we played with it literally every day, nonstop in the bayou, which was so fun. That's my jam. I mean, I would have literally put a tent up next to the bayou water and camped.
Ooh,
it's
you may
so
as well
awesome.
just put a snake in your pants.
I was going to tell you.
Eleanor saw a gazillion of them.
Eleanor goes, Mommy, and Eleanor's a little creeped out by snakes, which again makes me think she's your DNA.
Yeah.
She what do you call them when snakes have a little family of snakes? Nightmare?
A hellscape? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what she found. She was like, Mommy, there's a hellscape over there of snakes. And I was like, well, maybe just don't walk through it.
Yeah.
And she was like, tiptoeing like,
That's
Eleanor
still
does.
really brave, in my opinion, that she even went outside.
She's
I
really
wouldn't.
conflicted because she wants to be a vet and she feels like if you're going to be a veterinarian, you have to love all animals. So she'll self-talk herself through it. She's like, I would take care of a snake because it would be somebody's pet and they love it. Maybe I don't love it, but I would need to take care of it because you have to love it. I'm like, you're such a good person.
I honestly couldn't do it. Especially here, you want to freak her out worse. If you see a bunch of snakes like that, it's either that's a mating ball. So there's thousands of them underground. They get in these big, disgusting, stinky balls and they mate. It's like spring break.
It's like South Padre Island
South
for
Padre
snakes.
Island for
Like,
snakes.
See my boobies.
They take off their
That
little
sounds
snake
exactly
clothes
like
and-
Padre when I went.
Yeah.
It's like, let's get into this vat of bubbles and slither around, shall we?
Absolutely. So and same, I'm going to derail the story again.
Please.
But I tell my kids, this is the equivalent of like, in Pee-wee's Big Adventure where he saves all the animals and then the last thing is the snakes and it like almost dies. Like my kids are like, what if
Always.
there was a poisonous snake that was attacking me or like going to get me or the puppies? And I go, I would grab the snake behind the head and I would bite its head off because I would lose my mind.
And they're crossing their fingers. They're like, please, please, one day, please. We want to see mommy bite a snake. She's going to have on pink lipstick and a big hat.
And it's going to be
She's going to wear heels.
And I'm just screaming
She's
with
gonna,
like snake
We're
blood.
going to be at
I
an
know.
outdoor picnic. She's going to rip the head off of this snake. It's going to be
Horrifying.
somebody's pet. It's going to be awesome. Fingers crossed.
When my sister-in-law was visiting, just Delilah out of the blue, like we're in the car, goes, you know what mommy would do if she saw a snake? Bite its head off. And I'm like, can you please give a little bit of the backstory?
Yeah.
Like, don't make it just seem like I'm a sadistic, crazy, like
try
Ozzy
to have
Osbourne.
the stranger danger conversation with your kids. And we were like, I knew we had to keep it short, but I was like, hey, if you're ever this is when they're like 5 and under, so you're trying to like get in and get out. And you're like, look, if you're ever somewhere and somebody says they're picking you up for mommy or daddy, just say no. Blanket statement.
Yeah.
And if ever you're in a store or you're out somewhere and somebody puts their hands on you, you are allowed to kick them in the nuts.
Yeah.
And that's what I told them. I was trying to be simple. And then their heads just like, they were both like looking at me like, they were like, wait.
They want to
So
go through.
what if
all the scenarios.
And they're like, and then Finn's like, and then I'd punch him and then I would kick him. And then I was like, don't go looking for it, man. I'm like,
Did you try to touch me, man?
Yeah, like I'm like now
me?
someone's gonna be he's gonna like purposely knock into someone at like DSW and kick somebody in the nuts for no reason. And I'm gonna have to explain it. It's like they love the drama and they love when they see us.
I know, have to figure it out too.
Right.
Because they'll ask you some really tricky stuff.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I see this is something that like the kids always know that I react big to billboards. And so they'll be like, forever Ted Bundy was on a billboard because they did a movie or a documentary.
Oh, yeah.
Finn's like, who's Ted
too.
Bundy? And I'm like, I don't want to talk about that. So of course then he's like, can I Google him?
No.
I'm like, absolutely not. If you want to play a really fun game with your kids, I've said this before, have them act like you. And when my kids act like me, they do that part. They go, you are absolutely not allowed to ever watch anything with people without their clothes on or anything about Ted Bundy. That'll come later because it's true crime and whatever. It's
probably a good
fascinating.
rule for me too, because then I don't sleep so hot when I watch it. I will say, in my defense, on the snake issue, somebody did post on Nextdoor that their pet snake got really scared in the car and got stuck up under the dash. We live in
Where it
Los Angeles,
belongs.
you guys. Got stuck up under the dash and they couldn't get it out without
Killing it?
hurting it. And I happen to know a snake handler, and I posted information for them to get help because I understand loving something weird. So that's the only good
Wait,
deed
is
I'll
that
do.
a reference towards me? I will tell you a funny thing. So because of COVID, I think everybody overcompensated during holidays. Like I know we did. I know even when we were on the Kelly Clarkson show, one of the main questions was like, we went overboard in Christmas because we wanted to, so we're trying to make everybody feel better. And so Easter, we went cuckoo because we couldn't go to mass. So we were like, let's use that hour and a half for fun. And we blew it out. We had that big Easter egg hunt with your kids in the Galls, and then, right?
Yes.
And then they had all these Easter baskets, and we really did it up.
Yes.
Well, that is not how we went over the top with that.
Yeah.
So when we were in Grandma's house, we did the Easter baskets. You were right. Everybody was out, but we found some paper ones at Hallmark, and we were like, "Whoa." So then we were at the mall a lot because we needed to get out. So we went to the mall, the Galleria, wonderful.
Air-conditioned.
And
so was her house, but I mean,
barely. She doesn't like to do that.
In Oklahoma, you'd like go to the mall because it was air conditioned.
Yeah, Grandma does not like to air condition her house. Mm-mm. So real balmy. But I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I forgot to do the Easter egg hunt because we've been doing that. So then I was like, Eleanor came in and she goes, dead serious. She goes, well, Mommy, I went outside. I didn't find any Easter eggs, but I found a possum.
Yeah.
I go.
And a mating ball of snakes a little bit further down.
There's a mating ball of snakes
Horrifying.
in the bayou.
I hate Easter now.
Yeah, thanks, so far, all I've found is the serpents and rodents that were discussed at church.
Plagues.
They are in the backyard of your bayou.
Wait, what did I do,
Mommy? So I go,
so
well,
bad.
That is because the Easter Bunny did not know that we were supposed to hide eggs at Grandma's. And then I'm like simultaneously texting Casey like, are you going to Jen's today? Can you please pick up 20 fake eggs and put them around the house? And I'm so sorry. Like, please, Jesus, Lord, Jesus, help me. And so then we got home and they were in the house and it literally made their day.
Oh,
like,
good.
That was like the best thing ever.
So for like Easter Bunny as opposed to Santa, like it's not tied to, I mean, we addressed this in our video about Easter. Like, what does a bunny have to do with
nothing,
Jesus at all? Nothing. But there's nothing like tied to it because I kind of want them to feel like, oh, we're Methodists.
I've got things to say about the Methodists.
I had trouble spitting that out. Just because my husband was Church of Christ is how he was raised.
Is that Methodist?
No, it's a different just sect of Christianity. But I was going to say that I don't want them to think that like the good things that come with your faith are tied to something. You just get it. Whereas at Christmas,
I don't think
I hold that shit. Like, because there's Santa who's the buffer in between.
Jesus.
Like you got to earn it.
You better.
You want to celebrate. You want to go to Jesus' birthday party. You behave.
And you will wear the clothes I want, and you will take the pictures I want because the loot is at the end of this, and it's all based on your behavior. Yeah. Santa was just there to help us build faith. That's all.
But Easter, they're like, can you get in trouble and not get eggs? And I was like,
And they're like, do I care? It's an egg. And I'm like, I know, it's low stakes. I don't know.
Yeah.
But still, they remember that stuff, and then you're held up to the expectation.
No.
Speaking of, so we went to Methodist church.
And, okay, this is huge because Kristin, she's Catholic.
Well, what's funny is I really had a lot to think and say about this experience because I was a little sad that we weren't going to Catholic Mass because in Catholic world, Easter's like, number 2. It's like the bookends of whether you go to
Easter's like the Halloween of the Catholics.
It's the big very true. It's the big one. It's the big one, and
she says she's Catholic-ish. That isn't my spin on it.
No, it is. That's
quote.
my way of saying it because I do, and this is a bigger conversation, and everybody can have their own private journey with their religion. But what I do have is I absolutely have faith. I just sometimes the confines of religion, especially Catholic religion, pisses me off.
Decades
it's all the it's the boys club and all that crap, and there was so much abuse and all that I really struggled with the Catholic Church. But I was raised Catholic. My mother is a devout Catholic. It's the community I love. It's the thing I know. So I still struggle, but I'm working through stuff on my own. That's not the point of this conversation. The bigger point is I went to Methodist church on Sunday, yo. I went to church in Texas at a Methodist church. Oh my gosh, is it an event? Let me tell you, first of all, any church you roll into, and they've got two jumbotrons. Jumbotron
Now
screens.
we're talking my language. Okay.
Okay, let me even back up. Let me back up more. I'm like, oh Lord, he has risen, and he has risen in designer.
Oh, has
clothes.
he? Oh, okay.
We roll up.
Did Casey, were you thinking she was going to say indeed there? It was in designer.
In designer. In designer.
Okay.
You roll up, and the women
Sunday
are wearing
best.
like wrap dresses, like Chanel bags. I saw one woman with like a Fendi bag that I know is like $6,000. I was like, what's up, Texas Methodist?
Yeah, wow.
And they were all like, some of them were wearing real low cut stuff and some were wearing short stuff. I was like, okay, pray it away. And they were all like, at one point I was like, Colin, would you like to focus back on the person you married? He was like, I was just checking. I was like, what, to see if she had panty lines? And he's like, she didn't. Because Colin gets horny in church. It's the weirdest thing.
Wait, what?
Colin gets horny in church. Whenever I go to church, it's when he's like trying to look down my shirt or try to cup a feel. I know. It's crazy. He was raised mostly Catholic, so that makes sense, right? Like,
Oh, he was?
yes.
But
And
his mom
is Methodist. The second Greg and Sarah divorced. Sarah went back to her church.
Oh, okay.
So they sometimes had to double church it growing up.
Oh,
because there was
wow.
the Methodist Catholic run.
feels punitive.
I know. And then Colin had to do like catechism and
they're very different.
not enough church for Colin Sweeney. So I say it's fine. There's a
Wow.
lot. Listen, he could use it.
Well, obviously there's something about it he likes.
Well,
He likes it a
clearly, I
lot.
was like, stop. And he's like, he's a horn dog. So anyway, I know it's wonderful. His mother's going to lose her mind. So we go into church and like, it's everything I needed it to be. The minister's a good looking guy. He's like got gray hair, but it's like slick back. He's wearing like a what's that light blue and white?
Seersucker
With a light yellow tie, and all the people are, by the way, they gave my kids coloring books. They were like, hey, this will make life easier. I'm like, this Methodist game is on.
Yeah.
They're all sitting in the stands like, like talking to each other, touching each other.
Yeah.
Like, so good to see you. Oh my gosh, I was thinking about you last week. God bless. And he is risen and all this. I'm
Yeah.
like, so much joy.
Did they all have hats?
No, not a big hat game.
Oh, huh.
I know. And then they had a QR code. The guy was like, hey, everybody, before we get started, the band's like, dong, 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 dong.
Love it.
They're like, hey, enter your name and QR code, and we've got a podcast. I'm like, what is up with the Methodists?
Now I'm just so curious what Catholic. No, I'm not, because I've been
I
to Catholic
promise.
church before. Because here's the short evolution of my life is that
You were Catholic for a beat.
my
went.
mom was married to a Catholic person, but I was a baptized Presbyterian, and then which is
Kind of close. Well,
no,
I
it's the
forget
opposite
the one.
of Catholicism, pretty much.
The other one that's church is the Church of England, which is I think Episcopalian is closest to.
That's close to Catholicism.
You still take the Eucharist.
So
and,
we actually caused the schism. Is my
Yeah.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
guys-
where the big rift actually came from.
and Lutherans and then Methodists are like, let's keep it loose.
So then my dad went through this agnostic, maybe atheist phase, and then he was Unitarian, and then I used to go to church on my own to a Presbyterian church with friends, and then my mom got married to a Catholic guy.
You've
and
done
she
it all.
started-
You're a tastemaker.
Totally. She started making us go to midnight mass and all of that stuff. And
Midnight
I'm sorry
mass
if
is-
you're not used to what's the stuff? The incense?
Here's the thing. I think I took away more from this Methodist service than I did 40 years of
that's
Catholic
what I was
church.
gonna say. It's really because then I went to a Methodist college.
Yes.
And it wasn't they don't teach theology and specifically you would have to if you went to a
But
Catholic
it's
college.
a faith-based
Yeah.
church or a school, which I like.
They have you study other religions because their thought is, well, you will see what the truth is,
Right.
from education, learning it. So I went to that. Then I started going to this very crazy church with the jumbotrons.
Oh my gosh,
it was 4,000 people.
They're like the Book of John or whatever, and it's
like going to a car show.
It's
It is
the
so
best.
exciting. I know it really is, and it's
He was wearing like an E3 mic. He was like, check.
It's like Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah,
It
they're
really
like,
like, and it's so dramatic. And they would
oh
have
my God, yes, big voice and low voice.
Video,
totally to
like
support it, like a cross with like sparkly things falling down on the cross. I was like, am I in a concert?
Oh my God, there was this, when they did this huge baptism, there was this.
Did they dunk him in the thing?
They had these
Did they dip him in the pool?
3 big pools. And there was like somebody at this one who had been a porn star, and they
dip her twice.
I would like my own pool, please. No, that's not to be judging.
Colin's like, can I go?
I'm really having trouble focusing right now. What's happening? Speaking of no panty lines, you know what? You should wear a bra if you're going to wear that white dunking robe, ma'am. But none of us can focus at that point. Who's going to, honestly? Nobody can look away. But I don't even know if it was a guy, because there were so many people getting baptized. Huge.
Like a freaking water park.
It's like a big old party. And
boom.
And the guy that like not hosted it, he was like an associate pastor or something, had been a gang member and then joined a church like 13 years before that.
So dramatic.
Guys, I bawled my eyes out. And then that like slow drum starts up, and I'm like, I am saved, you guys, and I'm healed, and take my money. There's not much of it. And then I just love going to brunch and having a couple drinks afterwards. See, it is my thing. It's
the thing is, for me though, I did sit in a bit of judgment as I was there, because I'm Catholic, and I'm like, well, this isn't as good as my church. Like, I just like, my hands are folded, and I'm like, you guys are airy-fairy. There's too much
Kristin,
bells and whistles.
Literally what God wants you to do is judge and condemn us
while I'm in church. Hey, my husband's horny. My husband's horny. Everybody's doing their thing. But I'm just like, I also it made me a little bit homesick, because I was like, usually I'd be with my mom, or like we would have like, it's just like my thing. So I was like, well, this, as my Aunt Mary Lou would say, if it doesn't count, like if she acted like a complete fool at my cousin Justin's wedding. I think she was hammered when she was there, because she was like, it's an outdoor wedding. It doesn't count. It's not like if we would have been inside of a Catholic church, she would have been like on her best behavior.
God,
but we were outside.
She's like, this is bullshit.
Right.
There's no
he's
way
like, well,
he's going to
sign
go
on the
for
line.
this. Yeah.
So we were in church, and I don't know what you call him, preacher, minister, what?
Pastor, minister. Yeah, they don't like preacher. I learned that the hard way.
Up until that point, I was like, music, then that's going to not make Sarah happy, because all she talked about was the choir, and I was like, vocally a little muddy in my opinion. But they had a freaking trumpet section. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah.
And I'm like, gosh, there's so much happening. But when he got up to preach, first of all, there were cameras everywhere. And when I say cameras, it looked like paparazzi. Like, I'm like, are you kidding? At one point I was like ugly face, like just listening real hard. And then I could feel like a lens on my face, and I turned, and then I was like, listen with a smile.
I hope more than anything, while you're doing that, Colin's just
like checking
right
it.
at
Well,
your
I wore a
level.
low-cut top, which I didn't mean to, but I'm like,
well, then it doesn't count, Kristin.
Right. I'm like, go check out what's her name without the panty lines,
the
porn star that's about to get dipped at the.
I know. But I will say, everybody is very gluttonous in church, because everybody's famished at the same time.
Oh my God,
when it's
so
communion,
hungry.
You're like, that's the only size bread you're going to give to me. Like,
you don't get any of that, Methodist. You don't get any snacks.
You get the poker chip, don't you?
No, they didn't give us anything. And Finn goes, do you not get snacks at this one? I'm like,
no.
You don't even know what that means.
No, they only do it one Sunday of the month.
Oh yeah, ours is every week.
Yeah, but is it called Eucharist?
It's a Eucharist.
It's a cracker.
It's
it's a
actually
saltine.
Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're
what I'm
terrible, and they
saying.
make your mouth more thirsty than you're literally, and then you get the worst breath of your life.
Cotton mouth.
And then always the last song is like the longest in Catholic church, and it's, and he will raise you up on eagle's wings. My mom's like, verse 4. I'm like, God, I just want to go to Waffles and
Holy
more.
cow, I know. That's all of us. So
I know.
Forgive us.
But this was a really joyful, fun, lighthearted, and I gotta say, the minister, the preacher, the pastor, I don't remember his name. He obviously, if you're head of this church in Houston, Texas, you're good at it. Like he was charming and funny, and I listened. I really listened. His big thing was to, instead of trying to change everything, change the way you look at everything. And it like gave me chills. And Colin and I have talked about that like 5 times in like how much that applies to me in my life. Like me being sour or in a bad mood. Like, can I change the way I look at this instead of trying to change everything around me all the time? Like, can I loosen up at times? Can I look at things with a little more like humility? Can it make me like, if I rise above it a little bit, do I get a little humble, or I don't know.
Well, I have
nice.
words for you, Mary Lou. That church counted.
That church counted.
Yeah.
It really did. And
that's what it should do, I think. That's what I miss about like going to our church.
Yeah.
And we would go basically every weekend. We would miss like, some on vacation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We went to that church for 4 years.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened and they went remote. The kids still did like their Sunday Zoom stuff. But I miss it because I need that recentering. I need to like, even if it doesn't apply to me, I always want to give it like something that should mean something to me in that moment,
right.
to take for the week. It's like a refresh. It's like a breath mint for your soul for the week.
I think a couple things happened. First of all, I was like, do I love you? Maybe. A little bit of a crush on the pastor.
The porn star getting?
Nope.
No, that was at my church.
Colin.
Okay.
That's Colin. That's my husband.
She's not even a porn star.
He was very charming that I almost was like, boy, this is one of those examples where I'm like, am I following God or am I following you? Like he was so dynamic and cool. And like at one point, this will tell you who my mother-in-law is. So we were sitting there and I found myself, I was like kind of like not into it. And then I started listening and then I started to really listen. And then I started to like internalize. And then he had all these wonderful quotes up on the Jumbotron about like your final moment in life is not a bad one. It's he's like, you're not going to go out bad. Like you have a moment right before that moment to do the right thing. Like, so he just like really talked about how Easter is just a representation of how we get a new chance to like be a better person. And I was on board the whole time. I didn't think at any point, cause I'll tell you, the way you lose me is if you start getting fruity about any of it. I don't care what church you're from. If you're like, Lord, praise be Jesus, and God is good and all that. I get weirded out by that stuff if it becomes too like that. He was awesome. It was not that. It was just really faith-based and warm and cool. And he told a joke about how his grandfather or his wife's father is dying of Alzheimer's, and he doesn't speak anymore. And when he saw him for the first time, the first thing out of his mouth was, "Boy, you've gotten fat." To the preacher. So the preacher is telling this story, and in the story he goes, "Might I just say, I was like, what the hell?" That's what he said. And I was like, I like this guy. He's a little irreverent and like,
yeah. And
so I get done and I'm like, Sarah, I just had a moment. I really loved this experience. She's like, I don't like him.
Oh no. Well,
he's too flashy. But like literally he did have an iPad next to him where he was scrolling up all of his stuff. And there were 3 cameras going and he played to all 3 and it was streaming at the same time. I'm like, what is happening?
What he's doing.
It was really wonderful. I had a really great experience.
I do feel like you have to like go to a church that is like practical to you in some way. Cause I learned this at like some really fruity class or something like that I took. That was about like self-affirmations, that you can't lie to yourself. But what you can do is give something less importance to yourself. So like you can never say, I'm good enough to get this job, right?
Right.
But you are, because if you don't feel like you're good enough, you can't lie to yourself. You can't outsmart yourself, right? So this affirmation class was teaching you to say like, if I don't get this job, there will be others and the right one will come along. It is that like changing your thinking about the thing.
Instead of changing the thing.
Yeah. And you can't like lie to yourself. So you have to go to like a church where they practically make sense to you, where you can logic through it. Otherwise, you're kind of lying to yourself.
Well, and I will say that, so in the Methodist church, I mean, I use this word carefully, but like I've been twice, and the last guy was definitely an evangelist. That's what they use. That's the word. Like he was doing the like, like hands in his pocket thing and speaking low and then speaking high. It was and I was like, this doesn't feel authentic to me. This doesn't feel like a guy that I can relate to. But this guy was a dad and a husband, and he was cool, and he was warm, and that felt good. And so my takeaway was so impactful. I think that's my disconnect with the Catholic Church, is that there's only been a few priests along the way that I like connected to, because I was like, you can't know what's going on with me. Like, you can try, but like, you're not married, you're celibate. Like, it's very strict, it's very orderly. St. Monica's in Santa Monica is literally one of the most wonderful churches, and I had very strong relationships there, but I still never walked away the way I felt this, where I was like, I just learned some stuff. Like the Bible verses and Bible studies very big in the Methodist Church, and I think Catholics are kind of like, we got the gospel, and just roll out the four guys. And
I like
10 Commandments is like the HR department.
The church that we went to, and we'll be going to again, and don't judge, it's Brentwood Presbyterian Church.
Oh no, I knew you were going to that before.
Yeah, that's the church that we love best, and had tried like a ton of churches in Los Angeles and never felt at home. And then we just tried this church this one day, and they always don't judge the church based on my language or my behavior, please, because it's really good people that run this church.
Listen, I saw a guy on his phone checking his social media in Methodist Church in Houston.
Oh, was that guy's name Colin?
No, Colin was checking
boobies out. I'm painting the wrong image of Colin on this podcast.
You're not.
I'm not.
You're actually not.
Well,
I was like, what is wrong with you? He just wants to do, he knows it makes me uncomfortable, so he wants to do bits, but he also wants to look at bits. And also, if my bits are, I was wearing a low-cut shirt with a push-up bra, which I never do.
It's a good way to make friends anywhere,
but
though,
I did not know that would be the Texas thing, to be rolling in, like, looking all stacked and good.
Yeah.
I'm like, somebody getting sin.
Showing what God gave them.
Yeah, God bless you.
Yeah. Well,
Catholics don't do that.
The very first time that we went to Brentwood Presbyterian, like I said, it was on a whim. I really think I looked them up on Yelp, but towards the end, they always say, does anybody have like any blessings, anybody they want to pray for? And you do it. They just come out and they will hand you a microphone and say, and why?
Oh my God, no. Gosh, no.
It does make me nervous, but like I prayed for like friends, kids or something, like asked church.
I suppose
I'd
get used to it, and then I'd want to do a hot five, but I'm just saying, like, right now that terrifies me.
She's like,
hey,
is this thing on? A guy walks into a church.
A priest, a rabbi, and a
Newman. No, wrong. That's for Wednesday night service. But they do this thing, and there was this kid who at the time was definitely very young. He was maybe 20 or 21, and he raised his hand. He goes, I might cry saying this. I didn't know that was going to happen, but he goes, I want you guys to pray for my dad. He's like, this is the first time I've ever been here. And he's like, I am a drug addict, and he's given away everything to try and take care of me, and I keep going on drugs. And he's like, I feel terrible. He's the best guy in the whole wide world. And like, he wasn't asking that he pray for him. He was asking that we pray for his dad. And it was very earnest. It wasn't like, I'm here trying to get money from you or something like that. Like, it wasn't that. And so the minister like came down and put his like hand on his shoulder, and he was like, everybody around, like, put your hand on him. And
see, that's where I'd be like, I got to dip.
But it was nice.
Yeah, he was like, nice, but I'm
you're
like,
not
that's
alone.
too...
I know it feels like you are. And like, we're going to pray for your dad, and we're going to pray for you and all this. And everybody was so nice. And they stayed after to talk to him.
That's nice.
And I was like, this is where we have to go. Because this is like people really
caring about each other.
Yeah. And doing what they say they're going to do. And
I definitely think that's what I think, because we were trying to figure out like where we wanted to be, and Colin is not wanting to be Catholic, so we are trying to figure out where, because I care less about the house we're at and more about faith, because I want my kids to know that there is power in prayer. And I know that sounds, hear myself say it, and like, I am one of those people that's like easy. Like I'm very private about my my beliefs, because I believe everybody can have their own thing. But I do believe in the power of prayer the same way I believe in the power of laughter, and the way I feel when a room changes, when you do yoga and you're all together, like it's the collective spirit that like I think is really powerful. And I want my kids to know, like, if you pray, if you believe in something outside of yourself, if you're in a room with people all thinking about doing better, there is magic there. Like that's probably blasphemous on some level, but I'm just saying that's important to me.
That's the word I use a lot.
And also, as I'm raising my son in the last 2 years with COVID, I'm like, we need a little God in our life, man. I need the printout of the 10 Commandments, and I'm just going to go through them, be like, this is a HR handbook.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think we'd have to say these out loud, but let's just go over them anyway, just so you understand what the parameters are of being a good person. I think that guidance is really wonderful. I think it can go over the top. If you're agnostic or atheist, that's totally up to you. I think that that's not for me either, but I think questioning and all that is totally normal. I think faith is really important, and I want my kids to be in a faith-based situation, but that doesn't mean super, super religious.
Yeah, I can totally understand that, because I don't know. I do know what I want my kids to be, but I
Doctors?
Don't, for sure. I want them to worship.
Employed, nice to me.
Yeah.
Complimentary.
But in terms of like their faith, I don't really have like, I like what I believe, and it makes sense to me. But if it doesn't make sense to them, I'd want them to lie to me for my behalf, you know?
Oh, you definitely aren't Catholic.
No, but here's the other thing is like,
that's just exactly how it works.
no matter what you believe, I think it helps to know that there's something outside of yourself, so you're never
100%.
alone. And that's what I want them to feel. And also, anybody can pray, because none of us see what happens on the other side of the door.
Right.
But we know what we can bring to the door.
Right.
Like our mindset and our preparation and our energy for what we want and what we want to have happen. Certainly, like collectively as a group, there's a lot of power to that.
Yeah. And you feel less lonely when you go to, like, when I was in college and the 3 times I went to church, I felt like, I was like, oh, I know all the prayers. I know all the songs. The sermon is still super boring, but I'm here, and
check that box.
Check that box. No jumbotrons in this space, but this counts, and my mom would be really happy, and it's what I know. And it feels like it was just a good reminder to me of like the thing I want in our family is just a positive sort of like faith thing, not anything too serious. That being said, my son's going to Catholic school next year, and I'm stoked about it.
Yeah.
I think that
it's a great community is the other thing.
It's the community is what I've been trying to say in a long-winded way. But community is really important. I think that's why, like, when I moved to LA, I was like, I need everybody to know who I am. So if I'm dead in my apartment, someone will miss me. Like, I need the pharmacist to know me.
Ma'am, please stop showing us that birthmark. Number 1, it's not appropriate for church. Number 2,
I'm getting
fingerprints. We can identify you.
I just need you to know me, sir. I just need you give me my head meds. I need you to know my first name.
Especially you keep spelling Kristin with an I-N, so we are fully aware of how to spell your name.
Every single time you correct us on how we spell your name, we know, we get it. You're the I-N. If anything happened to you, it'd be like the Kristin with the I-N, right?
Yeah.
Guess what? There, I've done my job. There, I have done my job. Should we go to, or what do you?
Yeah, no, I do have, I got it. Okay, first of all, I have to say, thank you. This is a mom box.
Mom box.
When we did our pee-pee episode, what did we call it?
Giving the T on the PP. And by the way, PP, we're talking about the lack of
control of the
TT of the PP.
Yeah,
that it comes out at all times. Like kind of right now, if I were to laugh really hard, it would come out.
Yeah, Janet Jackson now should come out with a song called "Not in Control."
Not in Control. Yeah.
Yeah. And when she does the dance, just
grab her crotch.
Yeah. Well, but so we got so many messages.
So many.
From women who are like, yes. And so many of you suggested doing the professional.
Yeah. Well, I found that. Didn't I send you a TikTok?
Of what? The chair?
Of the chair.
All right. So that.
Okay, guys.
That's what I was going to say.
That's a love language when you send people TikToks.
We got this lovely message. This woman's like, I saw this on TikTok, so I asked my doctor about it. You should try this, Jen.
So awesome.
So it's called, what's it called? IMOMSOHARD?
It's basically M-Sculpt for your hoo-ha.
For your hoo-ha. And my
Which
husband
sounds
has made,
awesome because that's just a bunch of vibrations.
it gives you, they're not giving us any money for this. If you
Not
would
at
like
all.
to, please do, because I'm going to go next week
She's
in
gonna
for my
go.
consultation.
You sit on a vibrating chair.
It's 12,000 kegels in 28 minutes.
Oh my God. I would like turn inside out. My Kegel space would be like, what have you done?
You have to do it 6 times.
Oh my God. What if you're sitting on the chair? It's like a vibration. It feels good.
Then that is money well spent.
I suppose.
That it's medical.
Like, can I have Bridgerton playing so I can do 24,000 Kegels?
Yeah, I'll be back like, you don't have a problem anymore, ma'am. And I'm like, tighter. Stronger. I need to be able to lift a chair with this thing.
M-Sella.
Oh, M-Sella. Okay.
Say no to incontinence.
I'm going to try it. I'll report back and let you guys know.
It's definitely M-Sculpt. It's literally M-Sella.
No, that it is. It's like the same company and everything.
Oh my God, it's going to be nothing but vibration. Done. Why am I?
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
gonna
that
be
should
like-
be
it's-
sealed up right now from...
I'll do a selfie video.
Oh God,
while
please
I'm on the
don't.
chair, and I'll let you guys know how it goes. But thank you for all the suggestions and stuff. It's so nice.
I'll be curious to know if that works.
Well, you know what we'll do? I'll do my 6 sessions. I'll get on that trampoline in a pair of white linen pants, and we'll see
how
what
it
happens.
goes. We'll see how it rolls, yo.
We'll see how it goes or does not go. So,
Well, that's awesome. Let's do how about we do a hot flash?
yes.
Hot flash, hot flash. Hot flash.
I have an unorthodox
See what she did there?
hot flash.
You see what she did there?
Big hot flash to Clea Shearer, which I might be saying her last name wrong. She is the brunette of the home edit duo of Joanna and Clea. Clea found a little nub in her breast, and she found out. She advocated for herself. If I highly recommend you guys go to her Instagram, go to the Home Edits Instagram, listen to the interview with Joanna, who is her partner and best friend, who talks about how she found this little lump on the side, and she was like, I don't know if it's a big deal. She called her OBGYN. They were like, we can't get you in for months. She's like, no. I think this is more of that. Like, I think I'd kind of need to be checked out legit.
Yeah, because literally that's all you guys ever tell us is if you feel something, go get it checked out.
But you have to advocate for yourself. And so she was like, so she called her general practitioner and was like, I think there's something here. I need a mammogram or a sonogram, something that can get a deeper read. And sure enough, she had stage 1 or 2 breast cancer, and she literally went in and had a double mastectomy the next day.
Oh my
So
God.
she is in full recovery. And I think there was also a little bit of a tissue issue, like tissue situation where she had to go back into the hospital. So she's really going through it.
They found it in other places?
I don't know. She hasn't said yet, and I think
Yeah.
she's just taken this time as she should to like focus on herself and her
Yep.
family. But she's hilarious. She's what everybody loves about home organizers and type A people is she's very pragmatic and very direct. And there's nobody that's gonna do this better than her, because she's gonna be like, she's gonna come at you about getting in and getting checked and
Smart.
not putting it off. Like if you
Yeah.
have something that's going on, you can't put it off. That thing grows really, really fast. And
Yeah.
it's the difference between A, life and death, but B, like how fast they can treat it and what your treatment system is going to look like. So
Yeah.
you can avoid a lot of really nasty medicine that has a lot of long-term effects.
That's right. Don't be scared, ladies. The scary thing is going to happen if it's going to happen.
Right.
You know?
And
You can't
I think what she's doing is
ignore it
she's
away.
like, all right, they're gone. Okay, this is the next part. I didn't think this was going to be here. I still want my pantry to be organized. Moving on.
Yeah.
And not everybody has to be that way. You do it your way, but
Yeah.
she is handling it like a star.
We met a champ too after one of our
Oh,
live
boy.
shows who came up. She was finally able to like celebrate, but she showed us her new boobs, and
Yeah.
they were some nice stuff.
I will say, like, you know, we've been doing this for a while, and breast cancer is something that many cancers we've dealt with. Moms with
Yeah.
with their kids that
Yeah.
get sick. We've dealt with moms who are sick. We've said goodbye to some. It's like a very sad thing. But women are always showing Jen and I just how tough they are, and how all they want to do is get back to life and
Yep.
complaining about normal things. And
Yep.
she showed us this her like post mastectomy reconstruction.
Yep.
And I did think to myself, I was like, fuck, that is a lot to deal with
Yeah.
for her.
Yeah.
But she's also like 3 sheets to the wind with like 4 of her best friends having a great time. So I'm
Yep.
like, she's also killing it.
Yeah, yeah, good for her. And yeah, I agree. That's a good hot flash.
Go get your boobies checked, ladies. Get
get
them
your boobies checked. And also put all of your food in your pantry in rainbow order. Okay,
Rainbow
Do
order.
that.
And also go get dipped at your local Methodist. Go get dipped.
I tell you what, you put
I'm
the
not-
dip
I'm not
thing together
recruiting.
with that minister at the church you were at, and I think we've got ourselves a reality
recruit?
show.
Yeah, I think he'd be like, you know what? You're a lot. Maybe you don't go here. Can you go to a Methodist church in
Callan is
California?
strictly prohibited from entering the premises.
We are not dipping him. He refuses to wear pants.
Besides, you're kind of Catholic, Colin. So what are you trying to pull?
Yeah, you've been at St. Michael's and at this church the same amount of time. What are you doing?
Yep.
He's like just going to coffee and rolls at both. That's it.
He just likes free snacks.
Yeah, that's our podcast.
That's our podcast.